Jackie Sloman here, founder of Nutrition on the Mat and the Roman Protocol, where we show wrestlers how to make weigh-ins in 24 hours without aggressive cutting techniques, even if they have 5 or 10 pounds to lose. So what I want to talk to you guys about today is how wrestlers can double their concentration and performance on and off the mat by incorporating key performance foods into their nutrition plan. So to kind of start off with, why do most wrestlers have issues with focus and concentration during the season anyways? And part of it, of course, is going to be their hectic schedule. So obviously during the season, from when a wrestler wakes up to when they go to bed, they are busy. They are at school, they are at practice, they go home, they have homework, tests, projects, studying. Then they finally crawl into bed and then they go ahead and do it all again the next day. And this doesn't include tournaments, doesn't include travel time for matches, for duels. I'm kind of tired just thinking about it. But if your wrestlers' issues with their focus and their concentration aren't 100% based on stress, and most of the time it's not, the good news is there is a really good chance that we can fix a lot of those issues with incorporating key performance foods. So generally speaking, this goes hand in hand with the season, right? Especially for your high school and your college-age wrestlers. They're typically also trying to maintain their weight throughout the season. So this means restricting their foods, typically restricting their water intake. Obviously, this isn't stuff that we recommend, and it's not what I teach people during the Roman protocol, but the fact of the matter is that is what most wrestlers do. So not only are they underfueled, but they're overworked at the same time. So now that we know why a lot of wrestlers do have these issues with their focus and their concentration, what can we do to fix it? So today there's really 4 key components that I want to focus on that you can incorporate into your wrestler's diet that is probably going to dramatically improve their focus and their concentration. And obviously, this isn't going to just help them in class, it's going to help them with their performance and on the mat as well. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to focus on is actually going to be leafy greens. And I know that doesn't really sound that exciting, I'm sure, but hear me out. So leafy greens, so things like kale, spinach, mustard greens, cabbage, things like that, they are full of antioxidants, which not only is just really good from a health standpoint, but they're also full of things called carotenoids, and both of those together can improve a wrestler's memory and their focus ability as well. But besides that, dark leafy greens also are super full of potassium, and the really cool thing about that is when the body has enough, or when the body has an abundant amount of potassium in it, it actually helps improve the neural pathways. So real life explanation, what that means is pretty much your brain is going to get signals from the body back to itself a lot faster, which just means your wrestler is going to be able to react and respond in addition to retain stuff better in there. We're going to focus on our berries. So again, sounds super simple, but you guessed it, there's a special component found in these fruits that's going to help us. So berries actually contain something called anthocyanins. Yes, science loves giving complicated names to things that don't have to be that complicated, bear with me. And what anthocyanins do is they actually increase and make the communication between cells more efficient. So in real life terminology, what that means is your wrestler is actually going to have a faster reaction time by increasing these communications. Kind of picture having a new processor in your computer, right? A new processor is going to make your computer faster all around. It's going to make your downloads faster. It's just going to make everything about your computer's performance run more smoothly and more efficiently. And the same thing is going to happen to your athletes when they have that increased communication between their cells. So berries, luckily, are super simple to incorporate into your diet as part of your performance plan. They can be thrown in with smoothies, with yogurt, they can be put into salads, or they can even just be a snack on their own throughout the day. So super easy to get those in. Highly recommend it if you're having focus, if you're having concentration issues, or even if you just want to improve your reaction speed on the mat as well. Okay, The third thing that we're going to focus on is probably something that you're already familiar with, and you probably know that it already has health benefits, but maybe not quite sure why. And That's going to be omega-3 fatty acids. So omega-3 fatty acids do quite a few things for us in the body. First things first, they are super anti-inflammatory. That's amazing for athletes. The reason is during practices, during trainings, during mat time, during match, whatever you're doing, the body is developing a certain degree of inflammation in it. And what that means is that is the reason why it takes your wrestler long periods of time after trainings, after strength trainings, whatever that may be, to recover. So what omega-3s are going to do is they're going to speed up our recovery time. And also for wrestlers that might have a hard time with range of motion after exercise, it's going to help improve that as well. So kind of those two things there. Aside from that, omega-3s improve our mood, which has been shown to decrease how fatigued we feel. And the last and probably most important thing is omega-3s contain something called DHA. So for the scientific term, that is docosahexaenoic acid. And what DHA does is it actually aids in our body's memory function. So there's actually a really cool study that was done a while back that pretty much showed two different groups of people taking a memory test. And the first group of people were individuals that supplemented or got omega-3 fatty acids regularly in their diet. And the second group of people were those that did not. And essentially, the results of the study showed that individuals that did get omega-3s on a daily basis scored much, much higher on their memory test than those that didn't. So proof is in the pudding, so to speak. This stuff works. So where can you get omega-3s? Omega-3 fatty acids in general, and the ones that specifically contain DHA, are typically going to be found in fatty fish. So that's going to be things like your salmon, your tuna, and it's also found in stuff like seaweed as well. So if you're a big fan of sushi or you like eating fish a few times a week, good news, this stuff's great. If you're not, that's totally okay too. It might just be a good idea to potentially look into a supplement. Okay, so the last thing that we're going to talk about today is going to actually be green tea. And yeah, I know that's not typically a drink of choice for athletes, but just like before, hear me out. So green tea is actually really great for athletes for two specific reasons. So the first reason is that green tea, not a huge amount, but it contains the right amount of caffeine. So what that means is green tea is going to help keep your wrestlers more alert, first of all, and it's also going to help them decrease their rate of perceived exertion. So blah, 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 real life translation, what that means is when your wrestler is training, when they're practicing, very specifically as well, during endurance events, so during live mat time as an example, they are going to feel less tired exerting themselves. So the less tired someone feels, obviously, the better they're going to perform, the more consistent they're going to perform. A lot of wrestlers have issues kind of burning out or gassing out in the third period of their matches. This can help. So highly recommend it. And the other thing that green tea contains is a component called L-theanine. So L-theanine, what it does is it essentially slows or delays the release of caffeine in the body. And that might sound weird, but it's actually a good thing. So as an example, when an individual is drinking coffee, typically they want to be more awake, but usually what happens is they feel jittery, they feel hyper, they feel anxious. It's not necessarily a good feeling when you overdo it. So what L-theanine essentially does is it regulates and it delays the metabolism of caffeine in the body. So instead of getting those jittery feelings, you're just going to feel alert, you're just going to feel focused, you're just going to feel good. So super awesome there. So those are the 4 things I highly recommend you incorporate into your wrestler's performance plan if they are having issues with focus. As you can see, it's not only going to improve how they do in the classroom, how they feel at home, but it can actually improve their performance on the mat as well. So as usual, I love talking to you guys. We have a download below this post that goes over our top focus foods that we recommend for wrestlers with a neat little grocery list for you guys. Highly recommend you check it out. Otherwise, a bunch of other resources on nutrition on the mat, including a free training on the Roman protocol. So if you are interested in that program or you're interested in just understanding how it works, And that's pretty much it, guys. So until next time, I'll talk to you later. Bye.